Let there be light, and there was light. Okay, the words of Mother Eve, the words of the serpent, Satan, Saturn, Christ. Well, of course, it's the said God. It's the said God. But I'm just making the connection with that which we have associated Mother Eve with throughout our series of presentations. All right, so series of presentations. When I started this series of presentations for today, I really thought I knew exactly what I was going to first look at, and it seemed like, as before, that I would go through a series about recording seven presentations before I could really get into in the beginning. It is that in word. It perhaps is working so miraculously within me, in me, that I do need to process the function of what is taking place. Yes, so yeah, but my last presentation on in the beginning, let's just turn this slightly so we can see the board without too much fuss. Yes, okay, so oh, this is another expression of Mother Eve. Don't know if you can see her well there, but yes, so I've been having fun with in the beginning, but I must say it's like I feel it's like a little bit, it's like it's beyond me, almost beyond me. It's like it's so huge. It's like who am I to really talk about in the beginning? It's as if the cloak is too big for me. Yet still Mother Eve says, no, I want you to do this. You must do this. And every time I have done this, I am amazed with the profound information that comes through. So last time I thought, okay, we are going back to looking at the very first verse. And then I thought, okay, I could hear myself saying and the equals 6. Hair, right, hair. Now, something I had noticed before, because looking at the word beginning, which I hope you can see here, the word beginning, we have seen that the serpent is very active at this point, especially where I have indicated the red dots. So there are 2, 4, 6, 8 red dots. And that, of course, is like the God in there. The number 8 is God. And Mother Eve, of course, the serpent, the said God, is really doing her dance in that function, in that stream right there. And the stream, of course, with the G at the end and the G here as well, which coincides with the two sets of the gods. 7 and 7 is 14. It also coincides with the 7 and 7, which is 14 Eves that we have now discovered in verse 3 of Genesis of chapter 1. So basically, in that verse, when it says, let there be light, and there was light, that was really human coming into being. Yes, that's what Mother Eve is telling me, and it's making sense. So when I do the numerical values on there, it all ties up. This is the word tie right here. Now it all ties up wow, it all ties up in the word or the number 6 as well, because when we have the two sets of Eves, as we know, it would come to 5, because the two sets of Eves coming together, consolidating together as in pairs, that would be not just in pairs, but they have come under the umbrella. So 2 sevens are 14, and then that 14 sorry, 2 sevens are 14, but when that 14 is consolidated together, it becomes 5. This is where the 5 comes under the, so 2 sevens of 14 comes right here. And I'm now wondering about the letter L here as well. For Revelation, it's as if it's giving us a hint of the 7, because the L is really a 7. Which reminds me, in the first word of the said God, the spokes God, the God of speech, the God of language, her first word is let, but the first letter is like a 7. And the first word equals 10. Of course, when we do the numerical value for the word 10, it equals 3. 12, and of course, when we add 1 plus 2, it equals 3. Now, 3 equals 11, if I am correct. Now, that would mean there are 2 sets of those 7 right there in that 3. THREE. So this is 5, 5, 9, and 8 plus 2. So 10, 20, 29. So 29, 2 nines, which again is like 2 sets of both things are happening right there. It's like telling us, of course, this is 2. It's like saying there are 2 sets of birthing, 2 sets of, because the 7s, they birth. It's a process of birthing. So when we add this together, we have 11. Now that coincides with the let there be light, because light equals 11. When it says let there, the second word, let there, THERE, also equals 11. So the second word in itself is telling us that there is a motion that has 2 aspects to it. The second word is telling us that there is a motion of birthing, letting, that has 2 aspects to it. Now, the third word is let there be. Of course, be also equals 7. And in 7, that third word of Mother Eve, let there be, be, is very crucial to letting us know that the B is 13. And of course, we have seen from the second stanza, when it says, and there was light, and there was light. So there are 3 motions. So one motion, let there be, that was the word. Let, that's one motion. There has 2 aspects to it. And B in itself now is telling us, of course, it has the E behind it that tells us the magnitude of that bee is the beehive, which has 1 and 3. When we do this, it has the 1 and 3. Of course, with the 2, they forms a bond. The 2 tells you it's going to bond. With the tail behind it, that it's going to bond. It's going to bond into this 5, which is like, of course, 5 here, which is the M, which is the W, and so on. But it's also 7. So 7, when we do the numerical value for 7, it equals 2. So basically, we have 2 here. Let's do this. Mother Eve, help me here. Let. The letter L has 1 motion, 2 directions, and 3 points. And I believe that that is telling us a lot to what else happens in the text of let there be light. So we have counted this: 1 motion, 2 directions, and 3 points. When we add this up together, we have 6. So the whole thing is about telling us about 6. We also see when we do let there be light, it came to 12. Of course, 12 has 2 sixes in it. That's what happens here. 12 has 2 sixes in it. Now that in itself is saying Mother Eve has that makeup, but when we add 1 plus 2, we have 3. Now, of course, we have done the numerical value for 3, which is 11. 3 has 2 aspects to it. 3 has, and of course 11 is also 9. This is what I was talking about birthing. So it helps us to understand the dynamic of that word. So back to let there be, T-H-E-R-E, let there be. Let there be light. This is the first stance. Light is 11. There is 11. And B is 7, which also has 11 in it, but we are keeping everything light for now. Now there equals, if we do the numerical value for 11, it would give us 9. If we do the numerical value for 11 here, we would have 9 here too. If we do the numerical value for 7, we would have 2. And of course, for 10, which is 10 here, we would have 3. We would have 3. Because 10, when we do the numerical value for the word 10, of talking about the word form of 11 and 7 and 3. If we added these up, this would be 9 plus 9 is 18, 19, 20. That would be 23. Now, I hadn't done this before. I don't recall. Maybe I did, but I hadn't done this before. But this is really showing again where Mother Eve is there. This is Mother Eve. This is a proof that Mother Eve is very much in this as well as the said God. So 223, 2 plus 3 is 5. This is Mother Eve right here. When we do the numerical value for Eve, in case you are new to this, let's just do it here. EVE, we are looking at 5, 4, 5. That's 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. So here we see Mother Eve is the said God who is also saying, let there be light. We have done all of this and done the numerical values. When we did the numerical values, altogether came to 27. But as 7, she comes as the serpent. So in her, we can see that she comes in this first stance. I have to say, in this first stance, she comes as 5, and the other one would be that she comes as 6, because there would be a 1 of the and word, the and. So here in this, all of this, we see, yes, that reminds me, I did do this, but perhaps not in this way. So in this first stance, she is 5. Now, because I have gone through doing the numerical value of doing the 11 as in the numerical value for 11, this is how we have gained the understanding that Mother Eve is really there. So we have done these numerical values, and then we do the word form, like the numerical value for 11, the numerical value for 10, the numerical value for 7, and there we see Mother Eve. So that's what I hadn't done. Mother Eve is very present here in 5, in the 23, as we have on there 23. And if we were to do the same thing, because it's the same words, I believe, apart from that, let's just look at that. It's the same values, because here would be was, which still has a numerical value of 7, and it would be the same, but the only difference is that we would add and there was light. It would be, so and would be replacing the let. the word let would be and. So it would still be 10. This is where we have proof that everything is very well calculated in the scriptures. It is well calculated. Everything that I have been doing is that it's proving itself in its numerical values. Okay, so 1, 5, 4. And if we added this together, that would be 10. So this is where we gain that 1. And of course, if we did the numerical value for 1 hair, let's look at that. That's interesting. We would get 7. I have done this before. So then we would have 7. If we did the numerical value for 7 hair, for one, we would have 7. And if we did the numerical value for 7 hair, we would have 2. So this in essence would be 10. Let's see if I did this correctly. So it would be 10. No, it would be the same thing. So we would be, no, it's the same thing. If we did this, it's 10. So we'd be doing the numerical value for 10, which would give us 3. That's it. Would give us 3. And this as well, 7 would give us 2. So we are looking at, we would be doing 9 and 9, 18, 19, 20, and it would be 23. So it's the very same numerical values right here. So basically, the whole of that text, in essence, when we look at it, it's like saying it is also 10. Because let there be light, and there was light. So we see let there be light, and there was light. And that came to, and just really, it's sometimes when it comes so wonderful, let there be light. Yes, let there be light. Okay, and that's what I said. Yeah. So we can see Mother Eve is very, very present there, and there was light. So we see that that comes to 10 as well. So it's 2 sets of 5s, and so that comes to 10. That's really incredible. And the first letter let actually comes to 10 as well. So this is really magical. Really magical. So in that 10 we see that let there be light. In that 10, of course, is that we have let there be light. As I said, we have seen the 7 has been excuse me, and so 10, of course, we have 3, which is that vibration that comes and brings about life. It's the wave. It's the wave. But it also confirms about the 14 eves that we had before we do the other numerical values of the words. So we see how the 14 eves came about. And the 14 eves, of course, we see one set of 14 eves, but in the 4th verse is where it is said, and God saw. So I'm doing this again, God saw. And the word saw is where that wave comes in again. And of course, it is like a mass. Perhaps that's where the word mass comes from. And it is, so it is a mass, or it was, W-A-S, or it, or saw. Let's look at this. Or saw. And what else can we do? Or was, saw, and S, or it's also C, because we can turn this around again. So sorry, S-E, yeah, that's correct. S-E, because that is E. E-A. So there we see the 4 aspects of that soul, right there. And in that 4 aspects of that soul, of course, I believe there are more information for us to deconstruct. So yes, and each of these would be 7. Here we have E. This is 7 as well. 5 plus 2 is 7. 5 plus, well, except for the M is 4. 4, and that would be 2, would be 6. So perhaps it's good to do a numerical value on here. And this is 7, and this is 7. So 3 7s 21, and 6 is really 27. And this is where the birthing, 27, 2 plus 7 is 9. So the word soul, in essence, no matter how we look at it, it really gives us the full understanding that something is being birthed. Another birthing process is happening right there. Yes. 4 7s 28, and I believe that that is coinciding with a moon cycle is happening around that, because in fact Mother Eve has spoken to me on that, but I need to go into more understanding about it with the 14 Eves. And the 14 Eves, according to what Mother Eve was saying, plus the 14 gods come to 28, and that is the cycle around, the cycle of the moon around the earth. I've got it. Yes, Mother Eve, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. If you like this presentation, give us a thumbs up and do share. Thank you.